Hello everyone, this is James Johnson, and I'm here with a review of Civilization 6. So, I have a feeling this is going to be a long video because there's a lot of problems, and I mean a lot of problems with Civilization 6. So, first off, you're going to notice that, hey, there's an Earth map, right? And even a true Earth start locations. I like this. This is great. Earth. Hey, map type. Hey, where's my map size? Why did the map size go away? What about and the map size went away again. Why is that? Because they're set to being a specific size, which is a standard size map. If I want to play on a huge map, because who doesn't, you have to play one of these other map types. You can't do it on Earth in the true start location Earth, which is just a shame. It's like, why are you gonna make the best maps playable on these smaller settings with less AI? Blah. So, right out the door, issue. Went to the workshop hoping to find something to fix it. Nothing in the workshop fixed it yet. I'm sure eventually that will get fixed, but for right now, if you want to play on Earth, you have to play on a smaller map with less people. So, that could be minor to some of you. For me, you know, it's minor-ish, but no, it's, I would like to play on the big map. So that's issue 1. So we'll just grab a fractal, we'll grab huge. I'm only going to put this up to Prince because Prince is already starting to get crazy with shit, and I'll show you as we get in here. Go to advanced startup. I'm just going to pick somebody who... How about Trajan? Yeah, we'll go all Roman and stuff. I'm going to go random. Standard on that. Resources. Standard, huge fractal. Bump this down to city states 12 and start the game.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water to the great beasts of the Stone Age,
so here we have
to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far. Now begins your greatest quest. From this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars. Cast your net wide, O Trajan, Emperor of mighty Rome. Your legions stand at the ready to march out and establish the largest empire the world has ever seen. If you can truly get all roads to lead to Rome, yours will be an empire of great riches and luxuries. Surely then our citizens will proclaim you as their best ruler. The Optimus Princeps.
So, Civ has always been plagued with having kind of a long loading. Well, not always. So we'll get some of the background of my Civ play out of the way, right? So Civ 2 for me, which is the one that wasn't made by Sid Meier, was the best Civilization game for the longest amount of time. Civ 3 sucked compared to Civ 2. Civ 4 was meh compared to Civ 2. And a lot of people right now are already saying, what? What are you talking about? I hugely preferred Civ 2. I loved the High Council in it with the actors doing their stuff. I love the map and how you could play wide and turn everything to look the same. It was great for an OCD player. So you knew where your settlers or where your builders had done their building because it looked correct. You didn't have roads going in every which weird windy direction. All the roads went the exact same shape. when you were done with Civ 2, every piece of land looked the same because it was finished. You could visually see, okay, I'm done doing the work here. And that was a very fun part of the game, was using your builders to build your empire, your perfectly shaped railroad system with your perfectly irrigated land, and your mines placed on the hillsides, and everything else terraformed so that it would be grassland, and yeah, it was, I liked that. That was very good for my OCDness. And also the game balance and how the game played out from a combat point of view was fine. So I don't really play Civ 2 for the combat so much. I'm not really a warmonger, contrary to Civ 6 beliefs, where I am, and everyone is a warmonger. But that's another issue that we'll be talking about shortly. So here we are on the game, and it took a while, but they hid some of the important issues here, right here. Yield icons should always be defaulted to on, but I have to turn them on every freaking game. How do you play Civs without the yield icons on? Seriously. Alright, so here we are. Anyway, so Civ 2 was my favorite Civilization game until finally all the DLCs came out for Civ 5. When all the DLCs came out for Civ 5, Civilization 5 with Gods and Kings and Brave New World and everything added to it, finally was the Civ game to replace Civ 2 for me as the best Civ game of all time. That was a long time coming. Up until that point, I've pretty much felt that Sid needs to step away and let somebody else do his job, because I don't really like Sid's versions of Sid Meier's for some reason, because I preferred Civ 2, which was the only one in the series that really wasn't made by him. Now, so we've got the history of my Civilization history out of the way. Here we are, we're gonna found a city, right? I'm just gonna plop it down here for the sake of getting the video done. So this may not have been the best location to flop down a city, because unlike other Civ games where being coastal is really good, being coastal in this version isn't so much. It's unnecessary. Putting your town on the coast like this is basically lowering its defenses, if you will. So people can sail in with ships, which are powerful, which tend to be more powerful units than land units, and they can lay siege to your city, especially barbarians. And early on, barbarian quadrimaes are, well, they suck. Actually, early on, barbarians in general suck. And actually, barbarians anytime suck. We could be in the information era and barbarians can still be kicking your ass, because barbarians are stupid in this game. But let's finish the changes to where cities are placed, right? So I can already tell things are not going to go very well this game, because what do I not see right now? I don't see any mountains. Mountains? Wait. Since when do you want mountains? What, are you trying to build Machu Picchu or something like that? Are you wanting a defensive city? Are you going to go all warmongery? No. In Civ 6, mountains, you need mountains to succeed. You need mountains for adjacency bonuses for your districts. It's kind of flip-flopped what a good city is in Civilization, because mountains make good cities in this new game. Alright, So I've talked about the flip-flopping of what a good tile is for the game. I've talked about the fact that we can't play on huge Earth. And I have touched on barbarians are nuts. Because barbarians are nuts, I'm just going to straight off build another warrior. I'm not even going to bother building a scout. Remember, scout was like one of the first things you ever built, so you went and explored the world. Well, you could still do that. You could try to explore the world with your scout, but your scout will end up dead. The barbarians will kill it. No matter how good of a player you are, well, if maybe save scumming and being able to see a little bit ahead of time, if you do enough save scumming and shit like that, you could probably keep your scouts alive. But I guarantee most people are going to end up getting their scouts in a bad situation, and they're going to die to barbarians because barbarians are everywhere, and they're stupid in this game. And you're like, well, why didn't you turn off the barbarians? Or lower them? Well, you can't lower them. They're either on or they're off, right? That's one of the new things about this game, is they're on. And when they're on, they're beyond raging horde. They're raging stupidity is what they are. But I prefer the game to be played the way it's meant to be played, which evidently in this situation is it's meant to be played with raging stupidity, so I'm here talking about that. So as you can see, you can do things to boost your ability to accomplish things. Like, I built a city on the coast, so now sailing will go a lot faster when I research that. That's cool. This is a cool new thing that has been put into the game. But sadly, this cool new feature, which I kind of like, it helps to completely ruin the balance of the game. This game has no balance, by the way. There is no balance at all to how the game plays out. You can be at 1500 and some people will be in the Stone Age and some people will be in the Information Era, and you will have a whole list of people in between. Somebody in the Modern Area, somebody in the Industrial Area, someone in the Renaissance area, someone in the Medieval Era. It's so what? You know, in past Civ games, you would tend to get maybe one or two guys who would get out in front a little bit, like maybe an age. Now, people will be separated 3, 4, 5 ages, and it's normal. And yeah, you could be, you the player, may not be the one in the Information Age at 1500. Just understand that now. Okay, so I'm doing a little bit of the playthrough because, well, I'm sure the barbarians will rear their ugly heads shortly, and you'll get to see firsthand what I'm talking about when it comes to barbarians. But until then, let's turn our heads to another festering problem with the game, and that is religion. Oh, here's some barbarians. And there's the camp. Okay, so religion. Religion is tedious. Religion is annoying. I liked religion in Civ 5. I've liked religion in most every Civ game, actually. Religion has usually been a feature I've enjoyed. In this rendition of Civilization, religion is religion's gone nuts on steroids. you can rack up so many religious points so quickly that there's missionaries and there's all kinds of different units, religious units, and they're everywhere. They're running around constantly. Religion is constantly being bombed everywhere you go. But of course, anyone you bomb with religion is going to get really uppity and angry about it. But yet the AI runs around religion bombing constantly. And so it seems like the AI has some magical ability to spread religion without malice. Well, I'm sure there's malice, and that the AIs end up going to war, but you don't see it firsthand. You don't see the uppityness that the player gets from when the player converts towns. And with all of these units running around constantly converting towns, because you have such an overabundance of religious points, well, the religion being spread by influence, by trading, that whole portion of the religion game is kind of moot. It's kind of useless. If you're expecting to win the religious war by just having really strong religious cities that are putting a lot of influence on your neighbors, and you're going to trade the heck with them to spread your religion, yeah, no, that's not going to work. They have so many religious units running around that they're just going to excommunicate whatever you've done to them, and then eventually they're going to walk over and start dropping it on you, and you're going to be like, no, don't do that, and they're going to do it anyway, and yeah, the religious war is just a war that's, if you're going to win it, you need to expect to build lots and lots and lots of apostles and missionaries and inquisitors and all these various different religious units that can now actively fight each other even, which is taking it to a whole brand new extreme, one that is, well, annoying for the most part. Because if enough players in the game are actively pursuing religion, and there will be at least one AI, if not two AIs, and you, the player, wants to try to do it, then that's already enough to create a stagmire, if you will, where getting a religious war, while not impossible, well, is very frustratingly difficult. Yeah, so religion is kind of a new annoying meta that's everywhere. Now, let's see here. So, and then with the new Civ 6, you have districts. Kind of cool new feature, right? Well, at least I thought it was at first. So districts combined with barbarians, stupid barbarians. So districts combined with stupid barbarians makes for, well, that much more stuff you have to defend. I played a game.
Enacting new policies in our government can be of great benefit.
It is not wisdom, but authority that makes a law.
So this is one of the most important policies you can get, is the +5 to combat versus barbarians. It's almost a must-have policy in this game. It's almost stupid. I gotta go with God and King so I get my extra faith, so I can get my religion up. But yeah. Much of what we knew Civ to be is it's basically been flipped on its head. It's like they've tried to make the game as opposite from Civ 5 as possible for the sake of being different. And what we have here is a completely unbalanced mess where certain civs will rush out to the information era before other civs even make it out of the medieval era, and it's kind of, well, lame. Alright, so I'm going to choose a civic here. So these are some cool new changes. You choose civics, which you earn civics with culture, and you earn your... It's like a whole new research branch. You have research with you have a science branch, and you have a culture branch. And it's as big as the science branch. I like this. This is cool, right? This is one of the things in the game that I like the most. Especially the ideas of different governments which open up more of these policy cards. I think that's a good change. That's maybe the one good change in this game, or well, I wouldn't necessarily call it a good change. What I mean is it's an acceptable difference. So there was nothing wrong with how policies worked in the last game. I quite enjoyed how policies and culture worked in the last game. It was very enjoyable in Civ 5, but this is almost equally enjoyable. So it's not like it's a change that has ruined the game. It's a change that's you know, it's different, something fresh, something new in a game, and it doesn't make me cry or bang my head against the wall saying, Sid, what have you done to the game? Why are you ruining the game? This is fine. This is good. Okay, I'm going to fortify the unit because, hey, if I attack, well, I just got the policy which is going to give me a little more strength against fighting him, and if I attacked him, I would do more damage than he would do to me because of the policy. And if we stay one-on-one, I will eventually win this exchange. But we won't stay on one-to-one because these barbarians just miraculously spring up like every other turn from the barbarian camp. The rate of new barbarians coming out of these camps is just stupidly quick. And you have to assume that when you have one unit against a camp that he's going to be, well, he's going to end up flooded fairly shortly, and you want to make sure to keep his health high, if at all possible. Eureka! We have an inspiration, right? Alright, so I have another warrior coming out. So basically, I was talking about districts. Sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked while attempting to play the game and to do this review at the same time. Only because I want you guys to see firsthand what barbarians are like. Yes, I'm building more warriors because that is...
No man ever wetted clay and then left it, as if
you need to fight. You need to build fighting units right away, like you're an aggressive civ who is gonna try to kill his neighbors early. So you spam a bunch of warriors and you go and you find your closest neighbor and you attack his town and you kill him. In the old civs, no. Now you build a bunch of warriors early just so that you can survive. seriously, you need at least 3 barbarians right off the bat just to survive, or you need at least 3 warriors right off the bat just to survive the barbarians. The barbarians are brutally stupid in this game. Alright, and that plays into districts. So what districts are is kind of an extension of your town. So your town itself is the city center. It's a district. And you can place about, I don't know how many districts there are. I think there's 8 of them. So you got a holy district, which pumps out religious points. You've got a science district, which pumps out science points. You have a military district, which, contrary to what you think, it doesn't really pump out military units. It does help you. What it does is it gives your town more production. So it's actually an added industrial district, if you will. Then you also have an industrial district that's just, you know, completely an industrial district. And you have a district for coins, so like a market district. You have a district for amenities, which is like a entertainment district. Amenities are these guys here. If you don't have amenities, your town's get pissed off. You have a district for housing, so that you can have more housing, but that doesn't show up till later in the game. So yeah, you have all these districts that give you your basic stats. And at first you think, well, cool, you can make some really cool specialized towns, right? No, you can only have 1 district per town. So the whole specializing of the town, it doesn't really happen. All the towns turn into the same thing. Of course, you know, they're going to have different tile bonuses around them, and some are not going to be near mountains, and others are going to be near mountains, and the ones near the mountains are going to do better because, hey, mountains are awesome in this game, right? Useless mountains are awesome in Civ 6. And so all these districts are just targets that the barbarians can rush and pillage and cause you frustration. I just recently played this game where me and France were side by side on a fairly large continent. It wasn't the main continent, but we had ample growth to grow on both sides in our respective directions. But cool, you know, all this room here without other civs blocking me in, I'm gonna grow nice and large. Wrong. All that room just gives barbarians more places to spawn. So you have to constantly fight a war. And I mean a war. I'm not talking, you know, little skirmishing to clear out a barbarian camp. I'm talking you need as many units as if you were to go to war with another civilization just to deal with these barbarian camps. It's stupid. I'm telling you, the barbarians in this game are stupid. So anyway, I built up the adequate defenses to keep these barbarians in check, which of course is taking away from everything else I need to build. Not building any wonders, I'm not getting my districts up because I'm pumping out military units, which is obviously going to slow down your progress. So I'm trading with my neighboring France to generate the income to support my overly large army, because I need an overly large army to save myself from the raging horde of barbarians. I keep my side of things in check. I'm doing fine keeping the barbarians at bay. My civilization's growing up. I'm fairly happy. I've got plenty of room to expand. Well, next thing you know, I'm losing my money because my trade routes are getting crushed. And why are my trade routes getting crushed? Because my neighbor, I look over at Paris, it's almost dead. The AI barbarians have nearly sieged down Paris. So now I'm having to redirect my army to save the neighboring civ next to me who I need to trade with, or my economy is just going to go into the pits alive. So now I'm having to pump out even more military units and fight a two-front barbarian war to protect my neighboring AI, who is completely, not happy about this. And the only way to really solidify yourself from barbarians is to place a town everywhere so that the barbarian camps can't place. And France wasn't placing towns in places that was needed to keep these barbarian camps from spawning. So I placed towns there. And what happens? I'm building my towns too close to the AI. You could build your town like in, I don't know, a stupidly long way from the AI in the opposite direction, but still it'll tell you your town is too close. So that's one of the other issues with Civ 6, is the diplomacy in Civ 6 is just atrocious. It's horrible. You are a warmonger no matter what you do. You fight a defensive war, you take a city. Well, evidently you can't take cities in this game, because the moment you take a city trying to win the war, because you're in a defensive war, you're fighting for your life, you take the enemy's town, and now everyone in the world is calling you a warmonger. And the war's not even over yet. You could give the town back after the war, but you're still a warmonger because you took the damn town before the war is even done. So yeah, warmongering penalty is stupid. I don't even know what to say about that. So with diplomacy, they put in some cool things that have just completely missed the mark. They put in Casus Belli, and the Casus Belli isn't worth a shit. They need to, I don't know, play a few Paradox games and learn how Casus Bellis work. Or play a few Paradox games and learn how diplomacy works. I mean, Civ 6 diplomacy is so utterly atrocious, it's not even funny. So, diplomacy, atrocious. Wherever you build, you're too close to your neighbor. Warmongering can't be avoided. Casus Bellis are a joke. The barbarians are nuts. Religion is simply annoying. Districts constantly need defending, and with all the barbarians, well, that plays into having to protect all of these districts, so now you need an even larger army. Districts need mountains in order to be cool districts that are worthwhile, because there's the whole adjacency bonus going on, and being adjacent to mountains make the districts more powerful. And then finally, and the game's not balanced. Some of the AI can rush out to the information era by the time other AIs haven't even left the medieval era. I mean, it's just, what? Wow, I've never seen a Civ game so poorly balanced before. And then there's doom stacking. You're like, what are you talking about, doom stacking? So doom stacking is, in later games, you can put units together. You can create corps and regiments and stuff by putting the same unit type together to make it like a super unit, i.e. doom stacking. So if one tank wasn't enough, well, put 2 tanks together as one unit. If 2 tanks isn't enough as one unit, well, put 3 tanks together as one unit, so on and so forth. And they all operate as basically one unit after that, but they just get stronger stats. They become a super unit. kind of a neat idea, but I'm not a fan of doom stacking. It allows... So one of the things I always enjoyed about Civ is your military was limited by your hexes. You could only have so big of a military because you only had so many hexes to put your military, and that kept a certain amount of balance on the game. When you can start stacking your military into stupid sizes on hexes because you can have more than one put together as super units, now you're creating a much more warmongery game for the people who play Civ in a military type play. And so ultimately, that's what Civ 6 is. So, Civ 2, great Civ game. What was it, Civ 3, I think, that became very militaristic. And then Civ 4 started to come back around, and Civ 5 is the great game that's balanced, that you can play in so many different ways, with all the DLCs, of course. But Civ 6 is back to being a military Civ game. Ultimately, this is a military Civ game with horrible diplomacy. Religion is just annoying. I mean, it's all about those stupid little units on the board fighting. Some people might think that's the best part about Civ, right? Moving these units around like these barbarians. This isn't why I play Civ. I don't play Civ to kill barbarians. I don't play Civ to fight barbarians. I don't play Civ to even kill my neighbors. I might do it every now and then because they get uppity, but I'm a peaceful player. And the thing about Civilization, or Civilization done right, is I can enjoy Civilization as a peaceful player. Civ 6, there is no enjoying it as a peaceful player. Civ 6, there is one player type that would enjoy this game, and that is the overly aggressive warmonger who wants to destroy everyone in the world. That is what Civ 6 is designed for. It's not designed for a peaceful player. So all in all, Civ 6 is a travesty, of an out-of-balance travesty of a game. I hope this video has been informative. I hope maybe you learned something. I hope I explained enough of the differences between Civ 6 and other civilizations to kind of help you understand how this game is different, and it is. And finally, the last thing that I dislike about this Civ, which is a minor thing, but it's the art style. Why? People say that cartoony graphics age better? What? So how does the cartoony graphics age any better than having a nice, real-looking Trajan here, not a cartoon Trajan? I don't understand that. So, I'm not a fan of the cartoony graphics either. The game itself looks fine. Like, maybe that's one of the best parts about Civ 6 is the visuals of the map. It's got one of the best map visuals, especially with, building the districts up and stuff outside onto these tiles. The game looks nice, but you don't tend to play Civilization for the niceness of what the game looks like. You tend to play it for all the other reasons that Civ 6 just fails on.
Gott grüße euch, Geselle. Ich bin Kaiser Friedrich und herrsche über deutsche und welsche Lande, über Burgund und manche mehr. Ich weiß wohl, dass auch ihr kundgeherrschen mit rechter Gewalt.
Yes, Frederick. Glad to meet you too. It's an honor. Yes. We would love to sample your hospitality. So, in this situation, we have and that's the other thing about Civ 6, is that's, with Barbarians, you actually want to see the AI nearby you. In other Civ games, having an AI capital this close to my capital, this is like maybe 2 tightly squeezed cities away. This is too close. And this is on a huge world, right? And this happens quite frequently in Civ 6. Civ 6, you really kind of get the players crammed together. But you almost need this with these barbarians, because having the players crammed together takes away the room for the barbarian camps to spawn. So if you end up in a situation where you're packed in like sardines with other AI, well, the upside to that is the barbarians don't have anywhere to spawn. Downside to that is you don't have anywhere to build. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Ultimately, barbarians are maybe the most poorly done aspect of this game that crushes so many things, and then with the science being so completely out of whack. I mean, this is a big tech tree. It's a nice tech tree, but the AI can rush certain AIs end up rushing through this so immensely fast compared to the past, and other AIs get left in the dust. I mean, really in the dust, and then everyone's way in between. So you can have someone over here, someone here, someone here, someone here, someone here, and now they show you where everyone is on their layout, on how far they're getting through. There's a little visual display down here of where everyone's at, and you just look at it and it's like, wow, what kind of horse race is this? You know, you're used to everyone being like within the same area of an age. Now it's nothing like that. So the game is really out of balance. Some people might think that's a good thing. I think that's a horrible thing. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And at this point, I'm starting to repeat the same things. So, let's go ahead and end this video, shall we? So ultimately, Civ 6 is a game that introduced some neat ideas. Districts, neat ideas. Casus Belli, neat idea. First time I've seen Casus Belli inside of the world of Civilization. And I would love to see more Casus Belli in Civilization, but I'd like to see it done right. Right now, Casus Belli in this game is awful. The warmongering penalty is stupid. You really need to work on the diplomacy in this game. Something fierce. Diplomacy is atrocious. So, Barbarians, diplomacy, game out of balance tech-wise. Basically, it makes a Civilization game that's just unplayable at this point. And that is my final opinion of Civ 6. So, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and as always, peace.